Who's ready to get some shit done? Right? For those who don't know me, I'm already embarrassed I wrote all this, but here we go. A couple of things to know about me if you don't know. My name's Kelsey Larson. That's weird to say. I got married recently and getting used to that. I work with 7-figure CEOs to help them increase their revenue, reach, and team on their terms. I don't think business is one size fits all, and despite my bachelor's degree in entrepreneurship, go Cougs. Oh, cool, there's 5 of us. I already know all of them. I'm not convinced a business degree is worthwhile. My goal in life is to inspire people to take action so they can live an authentic life with purpose. Helps actually where I'm from. We just moved back. I'm an Enneagram 8, a Leo, an older sister. I can't stand it when my food touches. I love pretzels and beer cheese. My favorite animal is the Komodo dragon. In a past life, I owned a hair salon. No, I really actually did own a hair salon. And if I could have any job on earth, Disney princess by day, pyrotechnician by night. That's everything you need to know about me. When I'm not coaching clients, I'm co-hosting retreats. I'm leading my networking group, Empower PNW. Or hosting my podcast. I put 1 podcast, I was trying to keep focused, but yes, I host 2 podcasts. So here's the deal. I'm here to help you get shit done, which means I'm going to give you some homework to do after today, and I also want to work collaboratively for the next little bit. Does that sound okay? You guys up for that? Awesome. First things first, I need a little help here. Who can tell me what this is? Raise a hand. Raise a hand. I saw Max's hand first way out there. A football. Hey, Max, you get a prize. Honor system, will someone please hand this back to her? Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, well, that's what it takes. That's what you get for taking action. So this is a football. Anyone tell me what sport this belongs to or goes with? Baseball. Football, okay. I'm gonna periodically do swag, so I'm sorry. You don't know when it's coming, you don't know when it's not coming. So football, we play football. Can anyone tell me, if you're playing football, how do you know if you won the game? Score? Most points, right. But here's the thing. What does the word winning actually even mean? Does anyone have a guess on a definition for win or winning? Yeah? Reaching the goal? Doing your best? Did I hear that? Yeah? Everyone just agrees. Great. Okay, so according to Oxford, the definition is to be successful or victorious in a contest or conflict. But we just talked about winning being points, so that doesn't really make sense, right? That definition doesn't really apply here. So if you're going to pick a different word, maybe the word success. Does anyone have a definition for the word success? Loving what you do. Anyone else? Happiness. Anyone else? Accomplishment. Something in the back? Choosing your own life. Okay, so also Oxford, they say success is the accomplishment of an aim or purpose. Here's where I'm getting at with this. We as business owners, we can talk about having a winning mindset. We can say we want to be successful. We can strive to live out our purpose, but until we create a way to measure success, we will never know if we won the game. And the game we're all playing today, it's our businesses, right? So today, I'm gonna help you with 3 things. I'm gonna help you define how you win. I'm gonna help you decide what to tackle. And of course, it's me. I'm gonna help you get shit done. So let's talk a little bit about winning and go back to some football, which is funny. I was a nerdy cheerleader in high school. That's a thing, I promise. I hid in the journalism room and then cheered on the weekends. But at 50-50, I could throw this thing, but I felt like football was such a good analogy, so we're gonna go back to it. I want you to pretend for a second that you're playing on a team, and imagine if both teams didn't keep score. Now, imagine if they took away the goalposts or the goal line. Imagine if both teams were wearing the exact same color. Imagine if there was no referee. I think you get the point, right? There would be no clear winner of that game. And that's what I see a lot of business owners get wrong. They want to win. Who here wants to be successful? Right? There's no goalposts, no rules, no way to measure if you won. So it's confusing. How do you ever know if you got there if you don't define it? So I'm going to say this one more time for you. If you don't have a way of keeping score, you can't identify a winner. We talked about that with football, right? But if you don't have a way to measure success in your business, you will never know if you got there. So the first thing I want you to do is this. Open up that workbook that we had, and if you're an app notes person, I'll forgive you for being on your phone. Go ahead and grab your phone. We're going to take some notes. So the first thing I want you to do is write down the question, what does success mean to me? What does success mean to me? And before you go and write down a revenue goal, I want you to think about it really deep for a second. Imagine if I only defined success by a number, say $1 million. What happens when I make $1 million in revenue? What if I achieve that goal, but I have like the worst clients? Then what? What if I don't hit that goal, but I live a happy, fulfilling life? Is that not successful? On the opposite end of the spectrum, what if I define success as a feeling, a vibe, it's peace, but I had no metrics to confirm or deny my success? Is that successful? I think you need somewhere in the middle. So with all of that in mind, I want you right now to answer the question for yourself. We're going to play some vibey music. Jay hates the word vibey, but it's all I know. We're going to play some music for you to write down and answer the question for yourself. What does success mean to me? And go. There's this quote by John C. Maxwell that goes, "A leader who doesn't take accountability for their actions is like a ship without a captain." And you just took that step today in being a more accountable, better leader for your business and your team. So, way to go. So now that we've tackled that first part, the what does success mean to me part, we still have to find a way to keep score. And the way we're going to do that is something called KPIs. Who has heard of that before? I saw Alice first. Will you pass it to her? Thank you. KPIs, does anyone know what that stands for? Key performance indicators. Sorry, I told you, it's coming or it's not coming. Key performance indicators. Anyone have like a definition for that? Revenue? Yeah? Trackable benchmarks that I actually like that better. Well, hello, it's Molly, the copywriter, of course. It's better than what this. Okay, so according to Forbes, key performance indicator, KPI, is a measurable target that indicates how individuals or a business are performing in terms of meeting their goals. Okay? So write that down if you did not know that already, or you can Google it later. But before you go out and build a massive spreadsheet with revenue, cost, all those numbers, let me give you some food for thought. When I transitioned from owning a hair salon, I really did, by the way. I joke about that, but I really did do it. When I transitioned from that world to doing what I do now, business coaching, I had a huge list of KPIs I was measuring. Things like which Instagram post had the most engagement, or which podcast episode had the most downloads. I did this because I thought everyone did this. It was not working. And just because Instagram gives you a long, beautiful dashboard about what metrics to track and podcast platforms can give you like a whole report, it doesn't mean that you need that data to make decisions in your business. The purpose of tracking KPIs in Kelsey speak is this. It's to help you make decisions. That's it. My KPIs are the simplest they have ever been, and my business is the most profitable it has ever been, and I don't think that is a coincidence. So when we're thinking about you today, don't worry, I'm going to get you to write some stuff down in a second. I want you to start thinking about what KPIs you should be tracking in your business. I have kind of two things to think about. First one is this. What numbers directly tie to money-making activities? Does anyone have some guesses on what that could be? What numbers directly tie to money-making activities? Number of leads, yeah. Sales goals, yep. Okay, someone give me yeah. Number of meetings, yes. Here's why I asked that question. It depends on your business, right? If I'm in the hair industry, I'm gonna track different numbers than if I am a business coach, and I can vouch for that because I've been both, right? So you need to know what numbers directly relate to how you make money. So could someone give me just what industry are you in? Hair, interior design. How do you make money, Holly? How's your business make money? Right clientele. Working with them and listening. Selling them their dream. At the end of the day, they're paying for a service. Obviously, it's nuanced. They buy product too, but they're paying for a service. So until that contract is signed, that payment is paid, nothing really matters until that moment. So the metrics you measure are going to be around that one activity. On the other side of things, there's two other numbers I think are really important. What numbers show me what's working versus what's not working in my business? Here's where this is a little unique. So, as mentioned, I have a podcast. It's called Get Shit Done. I've had over 150 episodes. I've had seasons. I've had seasons where I had ad sponsorship and I had big brands reach out and do deals. And then I've had seasons where it took everything in me to produce an episode. So there's been times where I'm not tracking a thing. I'm just glad I did it. But currently, I just hired someone to help me push it out more because to me, my podcast is how I live out my mission. It's my free way to help people. I care. And because I'm investing time, money, energy, I need to know what's working and not working. So because I just invested in a person, I am gonna track how many downloads. I am gonna track where are people finding it from. Are they sharing it on social media? Because 6 months from now, I need to decide if I'm gonna continue to put that focus and emphasis on the podcast or not. Now, the podcast does not pay my bills transparently. If I'm crushing your dreams and you wanna start a podcast to pay the bills, sorry. It's a lot of work that goes into it, okay? But it's an important funnel within my business, and it's worth the attention, but it still matters for me to track those numbers to make decisions. Does that make sense? Okay. So where are my solopreneurs at? Woo! Can we give them a round of applause real quick? I'm not here to single you out. I'm not here to shame anybody. But here's the deal as a solopreneur. You wear all the hats. We've all been there, and I just also want you to know, you can build an empire by yourself. You do not need a team. So this is not a shame thing. I just want to offer some tailored advice around KPIs for you. Because you're wearing all the hats, and it's just you, the numbers you track need to be very specific and related to the things that are right in front of you that affect you directly, okay? So focus is going to be the name of the game. As I'm going to have you write down your KPIs in a second. So I'm just planting some seeds. Solopreneurs, focus, simple. That's the mindset going into KPIs. Leaders, where are you at? Oh, come on. I know some of you got employees in here. Yep. Leaders, let's give them a round of applause too. Here's the deal, leaders. Guess what? Just because you have KPIs for your business doesn't mean it stops there. You get to have them for every employee type within your company. And I'm going to tell you a story of why that needs to happen, okay? I have a client that used to not love doing one-on-ones. And I think it's because this person thought they were a waste of time. You know, if something's wrong, I'm going to address it with the employee. Eventually, we got to a place where we realized this person had never defined success for the overall business, let alone the individual roles within the business. And when we sat down and created like a rubric, it helped clear the air, if you will. So now when this client has one-on-ones, the employee fills it out, the employer fills it out, they compare notes, and there's clarity, there's understanding. It's forward moving because it's like, hey, this is working, this is not working, we need to improve this. The employee can be like, hey, I actually have this idea for the business, what if we do that? Everyone's on the same page and it's a win-win. So that story might not have done much for you, so I'm going to show you what I'm talking about, okay? Can you hold this for me? Okay, awesome, thank you so much. I'm just gonna go over here. You know what, actually you're holding it wrong. I'm gonna take it back. You look too comfortable, I don't wanna bother you. I'm just gonna take it. Did I hand that ball off well? No, right? This is what we're doing in business. I wanted Caitlin to get up and run and go score a touchdown, but I didn't communicate that. And then in my book, she's doing it wrong. She's trying to guess what the heck is Kelsey having me do with this football. I'm confused. I don't understand it, but I'm sitting here and I'm going to smile anyways, right? We're not on the same page. No communication happened. And then the follow-up of me just taking it away, who learns from that? How can she go then understand where the vision in the direction of the business is going? And how can I empower her to do that? I can't. That's hot potato leadership. So my leaders, people who have team members, if you're delegating and it's not doing right and it's coming back on your plate, that's why, okay? Oh, guess what? The last one. Thank you. Okay. So my visual there is just to get to you to recognize the importance of this KPI thing. I want you to understand that the leadership does not stop with you. Like, you need to understand where you're headed and why you need to have a way to make adjustments, and it comes from defining that success. It comes from those KPIs, and then it spills off to your team, okay? Now, I've talked about this a bunch. I've given you a couple of things to think about. I just want to give you a couple quick minutes. You and where you're at today, my leaders, maybe you're going to write some KPIs for your team members. I want you to take a couple minutes and list out a couple of KPIs you're going to measure, okay? Ready to go. So to wrap up this section, the numbers don't lie, but they don't tell the full story either, okay? When you're thinking of success, where you're headed in your business, you need two things. Does anyone remember the first thing I mentioned, the question we answered? Defining success. What does success mean to you, right? And then the second thing that we need is how to measure it, which was what? Love it. Beautiful. And the truth is this, if you're wanting to grow your business, you need to have both. Having a greater purpose gives you the motivation to keep going when times get tough. And being able to measure something allows you to make decisions and take action. Okay, so we have officially defined what success looks like, but now we need to figure out how to win. So back to football. How do you win football? Score. Who has the most points? But how does that happen? Talent. Hard work. Teamwork. Yeah. You're flirting with the answer, but I'll give it to you. Here's the how. It's a series of decisions and then actions. It's that split second before the quarterback throws the ball, when they're scanning the field and they decide who they're throwing it to. We're going to talk about the action side of things in a bit, but for now, we need to know how to decide what steps to take in your business. And we're going to talk about today. Look at today, for instance. Who here has learned something new? Oh, I love that. Oh, that's so good. I'm like, where's Mandy? Oh, that's so good, so good. I love it. Who feels inspired to take action? Yeah? Who maybe met someone new that they want to follow up with? Heck yeah, I love that. That's awesome. That's the whole point of today. But here's my job. My job is to help bridge the gap between inspiration and execution. I know I was helpful today if you leave inspired, maybe motivated, but I've truly done my job if a year from now you come back here and your business has completely transformed. Just like Mandy mentioned in her story, I want that for everyone in this room, okay? In theory, I'm gonna love you. I love you all. I love you all so much. But I'm gonna call you out real quick. You could leave today with a massive to-do list, and tackling it could give you the illusion of progress. But you need to know with certainty and for yourself what to-dos will help you win. Before we go out there and get shit done, you need to make sure you're tackling the right shit. That sounds so funny, but I couldn't help myself. There's this quote by Alex Hormozi that goes, "The reason you are stressed is you have decisions to make and you're not making them." I agree, but I think sometimes that happens because we don't have a clear process of how to make decisions, which is why it's time to build your decision-making playbook. Open up the workbook, write that down. Decision-making playbook, okay? Whenever I'm presented with a new opportunity or an idea, I ask myself these 4 questions. Feel free to write them down, but also adjust them. Not everyone speaks Kelsey speaks, so adjust them into your own language, okay? Question number 1, Is my house in order? My house, I live with my parents, so that's a whole nother conversation. Is my business house in order? Question number 2, will this task lead me to making money or saving money in the future? Question number 3, is this an ego yes or a hell yes? Ah. Ooh, ah. And then question 4, which is the least sexy of them all, but the most important, why? I'm going to break into each one real quick, so feel free to add your notes, and if you're me and you don't like not knowing what's coming ahead, I'm sorry, but that's just how I roll. So let's go back to talking about that house. Here's why I start with that. We as entrepreneurs love our shiny objects. Who here loves a good shiny object? I'm going to launch that thing. I'm going to go buy that thing. I'm going to go open up this restaurant. I'm going to go do that. Asking yourself, is house in order, gives you a process to decide if that shiny thing is a today yes, or maybe it's a say no today, but so I can say yes later. When I'm talking about house in order, I'm talking about, is my revenue coming in and am I able to literally pay my bills? Am I working with my dream clients? Like if money is good but my clients suck, my house is not in order. Am I working my ideal schedule? Am I doing the products and services that I love to do? If yes, you can proceed, right? But it's so important to ask ourselves these questions, and I think we just don't pause. Sometimes we jump on things, we get distracted, house burns to the ground, and we're like, what happened over here? I know that's happened to me. I've said yes to shiny things, and I have paid the price in time and money, and I don't want that for you. Question number 2 I wrote down. Does anyone remember what that was? Will this task lead to making money or saving money? The making money piece is important. If house is not in order, and you're like, Kelsey, I can't pay my bills, but I feel like I need to start a TikTok that I've never done before, I'm gonna ask you, how have you gotten clients before? Let's lean on history. What have we done before that's worked? If I literally need to pay bills tomorrow, I'm gonna try things I've already done, because I know it works. And then I can explore new, and in time, sure, add new platforms and stuff. But I just want you to get in the habit as a business owner to make these decisions, because guess what? No one else can make them for you. I can't make it for you. I can tell you all day long what I would do, what I wouldn't do, what so-and-so down the street does. But at the end of the day, being a great business owner is being a great decision maker, okay? And who doesn't want to save money? Of course, you maybe learned something today that could save you time and money. Might be worth exploring. So question 3 was what? Anyone remember? Yeah, that one got a woo, so I think that one resonated with a few. Ego yes or hell yes? Another way of saying that would be, am I doing this because I feel obligated? Or because I would feel bad if? Or because so-and-so asked me to? Or on the other end of this has happened to me. I'm gonna be real honest with you. I explored something that made me feel super cool and powerful, and I'm like, that would be badass if that happened. And it distracted me from my business a bit. And I had to my ego was fighting for me to do it, but it was not a full hell yes. And I had to let that go. And that thing doesn't even exist anymore, so it was probably a good thing. But all that to say, we have to check ourselves sometimes. Like, is this a full body yes? I can be a little scared, but is my body telling me, yes, I want to do this? Or am I just doing this for those other reasons? And then question 4 is why? Because if you can't answer that question before you take action, maybe you shouldn't take action. And if you can't answer that for yourself, maybe that's too weird. Find someone here today that you've met and say, hey, I'm thinking of doing this thing. And then have that person be like, well, why? Kelsey told me to ask you that. If you can't answer it, then maybe you don't explore it, and that's okay. Be okay with that. So here's the catch to all this stuff. I already kind of said it, but no one can tell you how to make decisions. No one is going to come to you and say, Kelsey, this is your business homework assignment on how to be successful. Distractions will come, hardship will come. You'll hire the wrong person. You'll hire an awesome person and they'll leave you overnight. Things happen. Though we as business owners have to build this muscle of decision making, and the more you do it, the better you get at it, and it's going to allow you to be agile and grow with your business wherever you want to take it. Again, there's no one way to do this thing. Here's the thing that I see a lot of people get wrong. They get distracted and they don't stop and do this work that I'm mentioning right now because they don't think they need it. And then all of a sudden now they're in some weird tangent somewhere like this story is going. And then they're like, wait, where was I? What was the point of that, right? I want you to feel confident in the decisions that you're making, and that starts with doing this work. So I'm gonna have you write down a couple questions to ask yourself next time you're faced with making a decision, which is today. So when you go home today and you're deciding, what am I gonna work on, what am I not gonna work on, what are some questions you're gonna ask yourself? That's what I want you to write down right now. Here's something to remember. We as business owners all start by playing every position, right? We call the shots, we tackle the offense, we kick the ball, we make the plays, we wear all of the hats. But there comes a day where you can't play every position and do it well. Imagine if I still played every position and maybe you have been playing quarterback for 10 years straight. Our teams go up against each other. Who's gonna win in quarterback? You, obviously, hands down. I share that because the person who spends years playing all of the available positions is the same person who puts way too much shit on their plate. It's the person who leaves today and takes messy, unintentional action on 18 different things and gets nowhere. I don't want that for you. So I encourage you to soak up everything you've learned today, run it through that decision-making playbook we just kind of started, and then go take actions on all the things that pass the test, okay? Does that make sense? Cool. Action, I said we're gonna end here, we're gonna come back, here we are. So we know how to win, we know how to get there. It's by making decisions, and that leaves us with the action piece. I want everyone to pull out their phone or their planner right now. Pull it out. I know you have it on your person, come on. Pull out your phone. Open up your calendar. Look at next week. I want you to block off some time to process everything that's happened today and go do your homework that I just gave you, okay? I want you to go back into this workbook. So look at your calendar, block off some time. If you can do a couple hours, that'd be awesome. We're all doing it? Give me a thumbs up once you've plugged it in. So you're going to go back to this workbook on whatever day and time you just plugged in, and I want you to revisit what you wrote down. And then you're going to create a way to track your KPIs, and leaders, I'm watching you. I'd love for you to work on some for your team too. They probably would appreciate it also. I don't want you to get hung up on the how. You don't need a fancy new notebook to do this. You don't need a new tech to track all the things. What you do need is quiet, intentional time to go through these for yourself. And then revisit it often. I do my KPIs every month, and I actually love it. It's the one day I don't take any meetings. I look at what worked, I look at what didn't, and I make decisions on behalf of my business. Your answers to these questions are important, but it doesn't stop there. I mentioned earlier that we would talk about that action piece. Here's the deal. After you leave today, it's up to you to take action or effectively delegate to your team. Hand off that ball. You're no longer the quarterback, by the way, leaders. You become the coach. Do you see coaches going back on the field and running plays? No, they are then pouring into their team, their leaders. They become the coach. They recruit good team members to then go execute. Stop getting on the field. Your team doesn't want it, okay? It's time for you to fully embrace being the captain of the ship. And if that means adjusting your schedule to get shit done, do it. If that means saying not now to some cool opportunities in order to get your house in order, do it. If that means reaching out to someone in this room to get guidance, me, any other speaker, the person at your table, do it. Here's the last thing I want to leave you with. What happens after today matters more than anything else, because nothing changes if nothing changes, which is crazy because Mandy mentioned that earlier when she spoke. Today I dumped a lot on you. Sorry, a lot. You now have a way to efficiently tackle all that you learned today and will continue to learn, and do it in a way that aligns with your own version of success. But I'd be lying if I said the hard part is done. It's not. That's what starts creeping up Monday when you go back to the real world. I want nothing more than to have everyone here see progress on their goals. And I know that happens with implementing the work that we just talked about. So I'm opening up myself to help you get there. Thank you, and let's all get shit done.